Banana Batman. Hey, welcome back everybody. This is Kelvin here. And today I think I'm gonna do a very unique video, guys. This is of course for Dungeon Quest, or else the thumbnail will be a little weird, wouldn't it? But anyways, guys, I've just recorded one of the videos and I posted it, and I already got some response for a comment. A rant on boss raids, or a video on what I do if I was Vcaffy. But at the end of the day, guys, it seems like it's going to be very 50-50. I mean, it was just posted, guys. And I kind of just thought about it and I said, why don't I just do it in one video? But before I begin, make sure you smash the like button, share and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on your post notifications. And of course, this intro is way too long already. Let's start the video. Alright guys, disclaimer. As many of you already know, I do have a bunch of side bays. I mean, I play a bunch of games. But obviously, I'm making this video because Dungeon Quest is my main chick. I care about it, that's why I'm ranting about it. So hopefully you guys understand that this comes from a position where I do love this game. In this video, I do want to let you know that there will be a lot of chit chat. Just because, I mean, it's literally a video about me talking about what I would do as Vcaffy, and of course about the boss rants as well. I will throw in some gameplay just to make it more interesting. Hopefully you guys do enjoy this video, because all this chit chat and stuff, that sounds really good, but if it doesn't get any traction, doesn't get any likes, it might not get to Vcaffy, and we might not make any change as a Dungeon Quest community. So with that being the case, I do hope you guys would share this around, just because if Vcaffy can see this, he might make some changes. And of course, for the rest of the video, if I say anything that you dislike or you do like, let me know in the comments down below. Alright, so let's play a scenario. Today is blah 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 day, and I've just woken up. I look in the mirror, and guess who I am? I am the Dungeon Quest creator. One of the Vcaffy brothers, the one that codes the game, the one that pretty much gets to make all the decisions, the one that hires and fires the mods, the one that creates updates that some people might be happy about but some might not be. I am Vcaffy for the day. And of course, let me just log into my game and see how it's doing. There it is, my pride and joy. Let me just scroll down a little bit and look at how many people is playing. 6,700? But what? But we have almost 1 million favorites. We have like 600 million visits. What the heck is going on? Oh, what do I do now? Maybe gotta make some changes to the game. Alright, with all that funky stuff out of the way, guys, I think the first thing Vcaffy definitely needs to do is reevaluate the old dungeons. For us higher levels, and when I mean higher levels, those of us that are caught up to the latest map that can do Nightmare, maybe even do a few boss raids as of now, we typically get the best gear out there, and if not the best gear, we're pretty close. All it takes is a little bit more grinding and we're almost to the max. But now, let's look at the lower levels. The level 20s, the 30s, the 40s, the 100s, the 120s that couldn't even do Steampunk Nightmare. They're quite behind. And the grind is not easy. And we're looking at those people with bad gear. It's taking them days to level up, weeks to level up, and by the time they actually get to maybe Steampunk Sewers, or even get to do boss raids at tier 1, tier 2, Vcaffy during Christmas has decided to push out another dungeon. And this time it's going to be even weirder, because why? We have boss raids now. Boss raids is a level 130 requirement, but what about the new dungeon? Think about it, guys. The new dungeon is going to be level 140? Is it going to skip past boss raids, or it's going to be level 130 again? Is Vcaffy going to make the next dungeon? The one during Christmas, which I really do think it's coming out, since that would be a long time since the Steampunk's update, if it does come out during Christmas. Would it really be level 130 or 140? Because obviously those higher levels out there like us, we're looking at the game and thinking, why isn't the new dungeon level 140? Because boss rates was 130, we're just moving up per update anyways. There's no reason for you to do a level 130 dungeon when there's already a level 130 boss raid. Right? It doesn't make any sense. You would just stay in boss rate, and the whole update for higher levels people might not care about. But then at the end of the day, the lower levels, they say, well, if it's level 140, now I have to do boss raids to get the gear to even do level 140? All the lower levels are freaking out already. I can't even do boss raids yet, and you're telling me I have to do boss raids, get it all the way up to tier 7, and then use that strong gear to even tackle the level 140? Are you serious? I know this is a little confusing, guys. I'm kind of looking at this problem from both angles, or not really being Vcaffy himself. I don't really know what he has in store for all of us, but I do have a solution for that, and I hope that if Vcaffy is watching this, we'll figure that out. I do think that the next dungeon that does come out should come out at level 140 cap. But I know, don't freak out yet. When I say around 140, what do I mean? As anyone remember, Vcaffy posted a post not too long ago. He mentioned wanting to bring back easy, medium, hard, insane, and hardcore. So what I'm thinking could be a really great addition is that if Vcaffy decides to put out a new dungeon in the future to really do maybe the insane to level 140, the nightmare to be 145, or the easy, medium, hard to be maybe 125, 130, and 135. With that being the case, guys, the lower levels 125s can immediately hop onto the new dungeon when it comes out, skipping entirely the boss raids. If they don't want to do it, they don't need to do it, guys. You need to remember, boss raids is a new feature. It's an extra feature. It shouldn't be within our path when it comes to progressing through the dungeons. And definitely, guys, for those of you lower level than that, stay tuned because I will be talking a bit more about making additional benefits for you guys for other dungeons. All right, number 2. The second thing that I really wanted to bring up, and this will help everybody, especially the lower levels. I do believe that every single one of our older dungeons now must increase by EXP, and I mean must. There is literally no reason to keep it at the base experience rate right now. Vcaffy might have made it a little easier. Vcaffy might have nerfed the dungeons throughout the entire progress of Dungeon Quest lifetime. However, the EXP is the big deal. I think, from my point of view, since there is currently 9 dungeons, every single one of these dungeons needs a huge EXP boost. What I'm saying is maybe Desert Temple getting a ×9 multiplier, Winter ×8, Pirate ×7, King's Castle ×5, all the way up to Steampunk, and maybe even Steampunk getting a minor 1.5 times multiplier. I know my numbers are a little crazy, a little sporadic, and maybe Vcaffy himself will have a better EXP formula, but this is just the general idea of what I want happen. I want a huge increased boost when it comes to lower level dungeons. People in the lower levels can get a quick highway track all the way up to the upper levels. For those high levels up there, they're probably like, no, that's unfair. Well, shut up. At the end of the day, do you not understand? If these low levels do not level up quicker, they do not stay in the game quicker, this game will lose its players. What's the point of being a high level in a game with no players? To think that just because 6 months ago it took you a long time to level up, that you think that 6 months later everyone needs to go through the same path as you need to understand the game is not as popular as it used to be. There's too much competition right now. We have games like Ninja Legends with like 60-70k players. We have Adopt Me with 100,000 player. Guys, these games are heavy competition for Dungeon Quest, and that's not simply because the games are better, it's just because of the fact that those games are trending. And Dungeon Quest at the end of the day is not new friendly enough. I think all the lower levels should definitely get a huge highway EXP boost to catch up at least to one of the latest maps. Even if it's not straight up to Steampunk Sewers, I think a low level shouldn't need to take more than 2 weeks to get all the way up to Ghastly Harbor, and maybe 1 week to Steampunk's 3 weeks and caught up. So he or she can experience grinding legendaries that are really good, ultimately increasing the player base, flooding the market with more trades and more player interaction. So the game actually booms up. And of course, when new players come and see the game with 10k players instead of 6k, 20k instead of 10k, they can decide to join the game as well and experience another highway track to become a high level. This way, this game can actually have a longevity. Once again, if you really think just because it was so hard for you to grind to your level right now that everyone needs to experience it, well, you're just straight up being selfish. Alright, number 3, guys. I actually wanted to move on to the Excalibur quest. And the Excalibur quest is a kind of wonky addition to the game. I wouldn't really call it an actual mechanic quest since there's no tab that tells you it's a quest. All that really happens is you gotta figure out what you need to do randomly, like little secrets behind the game, and then something lights up. You don't even know what you're getting at the very end yet. Yeah, so is it really a quest? Technically it isn't, but we do call it a quest. We have the green light for the tutorial, we have the yellow light for the jump quest, and then we have the really annoying blue light. The freaking blue light that requires you to use your RNG, your luck, to grab 3 dungeon cosmetics. At the end of the day, I don't know how many of you guys watching the video right now still actually plays Dungeon Quest or even farms cosmetics from the dungeons. I can pretty much assure you probably 50% of you has not gotten that blue light yet. You just aren't that lucky. The requirements are getting pretty crazy, and this game is getting a little, I wouldn't say difficult, guys, because this game, when you look at it from the 1% bracket, the highest level players at the very top, we don't really think the game is hard. But going back to it, guys, Roblox itself is a rated E game, which means there are plenty of young kids to a certain age. And when we consider a game that is so difficult, it doesn't really help the game's longevity. Once again, guys, I do think the high 1%, the hardest part of the game, should be very difficult, but the rest of the game must be made easy. Like my previous rant earlier, I was talking about increasing EXP rate. Yes, it needs to happen. And maybe even item shops for earlier levels. I don't know why we don't have maybe an item shop for the first 60 levels or 75 levels, so the people who couldn't get RNG good gear can actually get that gear. Buy it with gold or something. Increase the gold rate for lower levels. We don't have to give them millions and millions of gold. We can give them 10,000 to 20,000 and they can purchase their own items as they upgrade. And by the time they get to level 80, fine, you gotta farm your own gear. Now they're hooked onto the game and now they're going to farm. It's a strategy, guys. Like any dungeon crawler out there should always be an item shop for the lower levels. And when this game is so specified to not have an item shop for lower levels and force the low levels to grind their gear out. I mean, I did my noob to pro, guys, and I haven't found a single legendary gear, and a legendary gear could make my life so much easier. Yes, legendary is legendary, but at the end of the day, a legendary from the level 60 dungeon is nothing to us. Not the high levels, of course. So at the end of the day, why don't we have an item shop for us to sell some perhaps green gear, blue gear, purple gear to regular low level players so they can have an easier time to farm up. All right, number 4, guys, and this one is actually quite important. I don't know how many of you guys actually go on the Dungeon Quest Discord. You might have said a specific message and you might have gotten a bit of backlash from it, either from the moderators or some of the people there. I remember going on to Dungeon Quest Discord during the update and I wanted to voice an opinion. I think I did something like hashtag lower level raids, and a few of you guys followed me to it. I didn't specifically say to spam or raid the Discord, and immediately the moderators were pretty relentless about that. And it's not really the moderators' fault for keeping a strict and tight rule. The Discord itself doesn't even have that much people in it. Is it really the best idea where you would ban people when they talk about updates, when you would ban people for simply trying to voice an opinion? Yeah, I do admit, specifically for my scenario, maybe I shouldn't have done it because I know I was literally streaming and there was like, I think 18 or 1600 people watching, so it would have been a huge spam. I do apologize for that ahead of time. I just wanted to say that when you're not in your glory days anymore, it's in your interest to be a bit more lenient with your players. And of course, looking at it in an adult's perspective, guys, if you're not as popular, you need to be more lenient. And when you're popular again, I guess you can be strict then. That's just the way the world works, and that's just the way the world is. So hopefully the Dungeon Quest community itself can behave, while I hope the moderators at the same time can also be a bit more lenient so these players can voice their opinions productively. Yeah, sorry staff team, I don't mean to call you guys out. I just wanted to voice an opinion, and I still love each and every one of you. Oh gosh, thinking about it, I gotta stay low now. I can't show up too much on a Discord or else I might get in trouble. Alright, number 5, guys. I actually wasn't planning to put this in, and I kind of recorded this at the end of my recording. And that is, why did we even put in tier items? What I wanted to say is that raids and wave defense should be used more efficiently. Why don't we just put in gloves? Or amulets, or capes, or shoulder pads? Put in the extra item slot into the game instead of making boss raids give out a tier of items. That's going to wonk up the entire market. Like, if boss raids actually didn't give you guys the same gear you would get from a regular dungeon, and you must go to boss raids for a cool belt that is maybe even +1 to +7 tier or whatever, man, I think that would make the game a lot more interesting. Because now you do go to a different game mode to get more benefits, but you're not required to do so to get, you know, your best armor or your best helmet or your best weapon. And wave defense should really be reamped. Maybe you get boots from there as well, so that all these game modes could be efficiently utilized, so that there are a bunch of people playing wave defense at all times, a bunch of people doing boss raids, and a bunch of people doing regular dungeons to get regular gear. So hopefully Vcaffy consider this in the future, because every other dungeon crawler game out there has a bunch of gear you can put on. And with Dungeon Quest being a top-notch, well-designed game, Dungeon Quest is definitely one of the highest quality games on Roblox. Why don't we have it? Alright guys, that's pretty much it for this video. I don't know how long it actually ended out. I was pretty much just ranting on and on, talking forever. Let me know in the comments down below if you guys want to see a part 2 to this, about me just being in Vcaffy's shoes, what would I do, and just ranting in general. And if you did enjoy this video, like, share, and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on your post notifications. I'll see you guys in the next one. Peace out, y'all.